These are the 5 types of side hustles that I would utilize to set myself up financially if I was in the military right now. The first one is apps. And I know that's just a vague thing, but again, I said types of side hustles, right? So this is your Uber, Lyft, like rideshare, driving for, around with people, which there's a couple of different benefits here. 1, it gets you out of the house, which is kind of nice. 2, you work on your own schedule, right? You decide when you want to drive, and that's great. 3, if you're into the real estate space, driving rideshare means you get very familiar with your city very quickly, which even if you're not in real estate is beneficial. But if you are in the real estate space, that means that you're going to see properties that look dilapidated that you can reach out to the owners of, or you're going to get to familiar with what parts of town are being developed, are falling apart, and you'll get familiar with where you would want to place that investment money, which is great. Now, another app is Instacart, where you go and you drive around and you pick up groceries for people. I actually did this for a little while. I got kind of burnt out on it because the app was glitchy where I lived with service, and it just wasn't a great fit for me, but it does work. And if you're like an audiobook guy trying to learn personal development stuff, you get to drive around and listen to an audiobook while delivering, going and grocery shopping for people. And you get paid to do it. Another one is Turo, which is a way that you can rent your vehicle online for people who are looking to rent a car, which is great if you have another, a second vehicle, or if you're trying to justify buying that nice car. So you're like, well, what if I buy that nice car and then I rent it on Turo to cover its own payment? I've seen people do that. Or like if you're in a training exercise, you can rent it, make a little money while you're not using the car anyway. There's a couple of different ways that you can utilize this, but if you rent your vehicle on Turo, it can be a good way to generate some extra income without taking a ton of your time. You could also do like dog walking apps where you just go and walk people's dogs for them, which I don't actually know off the top of my head how well that pays, but it allows you to stretch your legs. And if you like furry creatures, then great. You get to be around some loving doggos, which is wonderful, but you're going to get some exercise, stretch your legs. You can also, listen to audiobooks and stuff. But again, just getting some exercise and getting paid to walk dogs. Now, the second type of side hustle here is online. And I know, again, vague, but that would be like skill sets that you can use to monetize. One of my favorites is copywriting. Copywriting is like, that's the people who write scripts for video sales letters, or they write emails for people that, convert, they sell, or they write landing pages and web pages and funnels and stuff like that. And so they can help a business owner sell more product, and that can be a valuable service. I actually, I'm testing somebody out right now where I just paid this gentleman, we did a trial run, and I just paid him $2,000 to rebuild one of my funnels and rewrite everything. So, $2,000, yes, it does take work, and he has to perform, otherwise it won't be an ongoing thing. But that's $2,000 that he's going to make off essentially sitting at his computer and typing and writing and whatever. And he can kind of do that on his own time as long as he gets it back to me in a timely way. And I also pay somebody every month to help write my emails. And I've paid people over the years to help redesign some of the copy on my website. So this is firsthand experience, something lucrative, because if you're better at getting conversions and sales than I am, then why wouldn't I want to use you? Something like even as simple as like helping title my YouTube videos would be something I'm willing to pay for if the videos perform better. You could also get into the content game. You could have a podcast, a YouTube, an Instagram, social media. You could do affiliate marketing. You could sell ebooks. You could get into blogging. Like all of these things is kind of where this entire brand started for me. Now, it was just a hobby. I didn't take it seriously or monetize any of it for the first few years, but there is money to be made in doing that. Now, this is kind of a longer term play on what you want to produce content around, what kind of model you want to do. And there's a lot that goes into that. It will take effort. It's not a fast, get off the ground, but it can be lucrative in the long run. The other side to content is the selling shovels to miners. So if you're familiar with like the gold rush, right? The miners all go and take all this risk and they might get rich. Maybe. And they also might get broke. More possible. But the people selling shovels to the gold miners are guaranteed to make money because the miners all need shovels and equipment. And so they're making money off of the gold rush in a way where they might not get quite the upside, but they don't have all the downside either. And so again, that could be copywriting, that could be scripting videos, that could be editing videos, that could be helping run social media. There's a lot of different ways that you can be behind the scenes on content for people who are doing it where you can make money. And then if you're really good at sales or dealing with people or even just DMs and talking to people, you could get into a role where you're getting paid a commission to help set appointments or close appointments for somebody, whether it's a online influencer, a brick and mortar store. Like basically on the online side, you can build all the content, build the thing, the brand, whatever. But if you can help other business owners make money, they will gladly pay you for that service, whether that's bringing in new clients, selling clients, setting appointments, whatever. There's a whole world there in the sales space where you can get paid pretty lucrative amounts of money and, again, work kind of on your own schedule. The third type here is consulting. So if you are an expert in a space, and I don't care what that space is, you can get paid for coaching, consulting, advising, etc., like helping people get to where you are. So you could be like the freaking go-to guy for like exhaust setups on cars, and you could make money consulting with people about that and helping them buy exhaust and even just getting an affiliate kickback on the exhaust. There's a million ways you can scale this out. Like you could be a real estate agent coach, a real estate lender coach, a real estate investing coach. If you're actually good at that thing, you could consult business owners. You could be there's just a lot of different avenues here where if you have a skill set, and you don't have to be the Ed Milet, Andy Frisella, like expert of all experts at this thing. You just have to be a few steps ahead of the people you're coaching. So let's say you bought 7 houses. You could help people buy their first house. You know how to do that. Now, I would say you need some credibility to get into that space, but it's possible. A common one is the fitness space. You could be whether it's a fitness influencer and you sell supplements and whatever, but you could be like a personal trainer. And then you're getting paid to help people get in shape and consult. And that could be an online program that you write, a meal plan that you write. That could be, actually going and working out with people. You could even do meal prep for people. Like there's a whole world there of, coaching, consulting, advising that you can build an ecosphere around. So like whatever your expertise is, there's a way to monetize that in the consulting realm if you want to. And again, kind of flexible hours and schedule. Now, number 4 here is part-time jobs. This is not as flexible, but it can be. But this would be things like weekend or local jobs. Maybe a common one that I saw in the Marine Corps was guys who bounced at bars on the weekend. So they like to go out to the bar scene, but they didn't necessarily want to blow all their money on alcohol. So they would go be a bouncer at a bar they liked. And they'd get to meet people, they get to hang out, they get to do whatever. And, they're not blowing all their money because they're working. And so that could be a good avenue for you. It's just a local job in the, part-time on nights and weekends or whatever. But when you get into that realm, you are going to need to make sure that your command is okay with it because there are some rules about having side jobs. And so you're going to want to make sure that you get, you tell your command, you talk to them, they're aware of it, they give you approval or whatever. And you're going to have to make sure that like the part-time job always knows that the military comes first. So if you are on training evolution or deployed, like you're going to have to be able to get time off. So you're going to have to be a little flexible on that, but it can work. And number 5, if you're really committed to like the longer term play here, is building a business. And this doesn't have to be anything incredibly complex. One of the business models that I liked that I saw a guy doing while he was serving was mobile notary services. So like if you're a real estate investor or, anything legal or even if you're just dealing with legal stuff like a divorce and you're having to get documents notarized, then you have to, notaries are not always easy to find. It's like a lot of times you got to go to a legal office or like maybe a FedEx or your local adjutant on base that you got to go deal with to try to hunt him down for a notary. It's not always easy to hunt down a notary. It's not always convenient. And so a lot of times people are willing to pay $50, $100, $200, whatever it costs for you to just show up at their house or meet them wherever and notarize a document. I have done this a couple of times. I had a guy show up to my local real estate investor association meetup here, and he was able to notarize documents, I kid you not, in the back seat of my car. Like we opened the trunk and on the folded down seats and we notarized the documents there in the parking lot. That saved me a whole bunch of hassle. And I paid him whatever it was, $50, $100. I've also had somebody meet me inside of a FedEx where I like received an overnight package from Missouri to close on a house, had the notary meet me, signed everything, and gave it right back to FedEx to overnight back to Missouri so that I could close on a property on time without, delays or hardship or whatever. And that was much more convenient because, I got to the FedEx with like 15 minutes to spare before they closed. We notarized it and sent it out. Otherwise, I would have had to get it out the next day and just this whole thing. So you can build out a mobile notary business where you get, Google reviews, whatever, and people find you, they call you and you go, you have to get your notary test and there are rules with that. But then once you get your stamp kit and your whatever, your cost is basically travel and you make your own prices and timelines. Another one that Gary Vaynerchuk made famous, and I used to do a little bit of, is like the garage sale flipping game. Like you go to big flea markets or thrift stores or garage sales, you look for things that are very much underpriced. You can kind of comp them on eBay, Amazon, and see what they're selling for, Facebook Marketplace, whatever. And then you can buy it, haggle, whatever, buy it. And whatever that margin is, you get to make the difference minus shipping. Unless you sell it locally, then you don't have to worry about shipping. And I used to do this. I used to have some big wins. My favorite one was I bought a printer for like 50 cents and sold it for like $90, right? So the return percentage-wise on that was huge. But then there were other things that I used to buy, like mostly I found the electronic stuff did well, but you could buy pieces for computers or gaming systems or whatever, and you buy them at a discount from somebody who's just trying to offload at a garage sale, and then you can go and do the harder work online and you can sell it. Now, this is an active thing and it takes time, and some stuff might sit on your shelf forever, but you can definitely make money doing this. And again, on your timeline. And then you could get into things like charging scooters. Like if you're in a city that has all those bird scooters, you could be one of the people who picks them all up and you plug them in your garage. And I forget what they pay you. It's like $10 a scooter or something like that, or $20 a scooter. So you could go and pick up like 10 scooters and plug them all in your garage. And then the next day you just drop them all off on the way into work and they charge to your house overnight. So you basically make whatever they what they pay you to charge the scooter minus electricity costs and gas, and you're good. You just pick them up whenever you get off work and you drop them off, whenever you go to work or however you want to do it. And you can make a little bit of extra money doing that. I had a friend who used to make a couple $100 a week just charging scooters. And then you get into the space of like renting a photo booth or renting like a jump house for parties or whatever, or even just working on like TaskRabbit as a guy that people can call to like come help with handyman stuff if you're handy. And so there's a lot of these just different models that you can build out, as well as, yeah, sure, you could build a full-on real business while serving in the military. I'm an example of that, although kind of accidental while I was doing it, but it does work and I do make good money, and it was started while I was in the military. Okay, now as a bonus, here's a couple of ideas for what to do now, but also I want to just harp on this. My favorite side hustle to tell people about is just to freaking get promoted. So like if you're in that E1 to 5 stage where your promotion is still based on, volunteer hours or educational stuff or books you've read or your rifle range or your fitness score or however your branch does it, whatever you can do to maximize and set yourself up for getting promoted faster, especially if it's meritorious, but even just making sure that you get promoted at the very first chance you can get promoted, take the time to set yourself up that way, because you're already showing up to work every day. You're already working, 6 to 4 or 7 to 4 or whatever your hours are. Maybe you're in the field and you're working like midnight to midnight or whatever, but you're already working those crazy hours or those normal hours. And so if you can just get promoted while you're working, then you're going to get paid more for doing the same amount of time in work without having to even touch one of these side hustles. So definitely maximize your ability to get promoted before you even mess with all this stuff, because you can often, the stuff that you need to do to maximize getting promoted, you can do at work. So you can be sitting at work, setting yourself up for your next promotion to get promoted faster, to make money faster, to reinvest that money, and not have to worry about working on weekends for side hustles. And then you should do all the normal financial stuff. You should put as much as you can into your TSP at an early age. You should get to where you can house hack a fourplex or a duplex or a single family house, use your VA loan to maximize that side and live for free while you're renting and investing. You should put money in an index fund. I mean, the bottom line is this: the money you're making from side hustles, don't go blow it on toys. Like, maybe you buy yourself something nice the first month, or if you have whatever, like pay off the debt you have and start investing it as fast as possible, because you're doing the side hustle to set yourself up for success, not just to spend more money. So I would say whatever money you make from these side hustles, set it all into a different bank account and use it to either pay down debt you have or invest in your financial future and your education, and just compound that. Like, don't touch that money. When my business finally started making money, it went into a separate account and it went into real estate investing. And it wasn't until I got out of the military that I started living on it. And that was great because it allowed me to build that wealth much faster. Whereas if I'd been spending the money while I was in, I may never have gotten to the place where I could leave and live completely off of my military salary. So definitely make sure that whatever money you're getting in from the side hustle, you use it intentionally for your future. So you're not just wasting all this time doing a side hustle and just have nothing financially to show for it other than like a new freaking Xbox, right? So use the money intelligently. I hope this helps. Comment down below what side hustle you've tried or you want to try, or if you've got a better suggestion and there's one I missed, comment it down below. I always love hearing about what kind of hustles that service members and vets are doing to make more money. So I love you guys. I hope this helped. Have a great day. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. See you later.